Okay, so now we have your turn. So question number 16. Well, there was some, the numbers got mixed up a little bit. I don't know, you may have it as 15. Do you have it as 15 or 16? 16? Okay, good. So create a list of, well, list create a list consisting of the length of each element in the sequence. Okay, so let's copy that and put that as just make up a name. Okay, so that's the list, and we want list comprehension. So you need to use list comprehension here, not a for loop. You can do this with a longer version with a for loop, right? But we don't want the longer version. We want the more efficient way of doing this, and we want a list that will have the length of each element is going to be the length of the elements in sec 1. So if you want to save this, then you can do it like that, and then we can print it. Or you can just, without saving, if you just do the comprehension, it will print it for you. But let's save it like this. So the loop part is going to be, say, like for, okay, this variable is user defined, right? So it can be anything. So let's say we use v, right? v in sec L1, and there is no if condition here. So that's the iteration part. It's going to iterate over, right? And as you iterate over, what is the result that we want? That should be put in front of the for. So what do we want? We want the length of each element. So that will be like lenv. Lenv will give you okay, so let's run this. Oh, I have my cap lock on. It should be. Oh, the V's also. Name. It should be uppercase. Okay. So for each element, we have the length of the element as the new value in the list. Okay, so this is list comprehension. Once again, this comprehension simply is a more efficient way of doing a for loop. That's what it amounts to. This is more efficient. It takes only one line of code instead of 4 or 5 lines of code. So it's easier to use and comprehend. All right. Now question 17 says, here we have 4 numbers. Okay. And me call it sec L3. Now what we want okay. So now we want to iterate over this list, and once again there is 3 parts to the comprehension, right? The computation part, the iteration part, and then the if condition. The if condition is optional, you don't have to have it, but these two we must have. So the iteration part is what? So, okay, for v in sec L3, all right. So that's going to, okay. Now we want a set, okay, so it's not a list that we want, therefore this must be enclosed within curly braces, not square bracket. If you do a square bracket, then you will get a list back. Okay. Now the mathematical operation that we want to perform is the modulus of each of these numbers with 12. So modulus is you divide by 12 and the remainder is the modulus, right? So we did this way back in chapter 2 or chapter 2 I think, the binary operations. So we take V and then do the modulus operation with 12, right? And the modulus operator is what? You have to now, okay, of course, these are things that you can't recall right away because there are so many of them. Yeah. If you don't remember, which is understandable, I don't remember many of these things, so you have to go back and look in that table. You can see, for plus minus, I mean that's not anything that we have to look up for, but modulus and things like that, you may have to go back and look what the exact syntax is. So the percentage sign is the all right. So you get obviously one of the 4 numbers, 2 of the 4 numbers have the same modulus, so that's why you get only 3 numbers back. Okay. Remember, so if we did this without the, okay, just to see what the answers are, let's do a list comprehension. The same thing, okay, let's not save it, right? So you take away the curly braces and put square brackets. Then you get 9, 2, 10, and 9 as the modulus of 12 for each of those 4 numbers. So 9, the set of this will be 2, 9, and 10. Okay, so that's what we got here. Is that good? Okay. Question 18. So consider the sequence from number 16 above. So we are now talking about SEQL1. Okay. Now we want to do a comprehension and create a dictionary for that list. Okay. So let's just create it and print it. Okay, let's not worry about saving it into another object. So here we need a, So we need, since we want a dictionary, we need a key and a value here, right? So key colon value is going to give us the dictionary. Okay. Then the iteration is, okay, so now we need two values for us to be able to create a dictionary. So what do we need here? So let's say that we need two variables, and in a for loop to get two variables we need what? In enumerate. Then SEQL. So this is going to loop through SEQL1, and each time it loops through, you're going to get the index value in I and the value of the element in V, right? Okay. But now what we want is, suppose if we did, you want the value, the index, okay, the key, use the first three letters of the element, plus location index of the element, and value. So the value goes here, value goes into the value part. The key here, we want the element and the location. Well, we want only the first three elements. So how are we going to do that? So here if we did V is going to be the value of these are strings, and we can do V plus I, but the problem is I is an integer, V is a string. So this is not going to work, right? So how do we add a string and a number? So when you want to concatenate string and a number, okay, the number must be converted into a string value. And how do we do that? Okay, again, go back to chapter 2, and if you look at the type coercion, we can coerce type. So like from integer can be coerced into a floating point value. A floating point value can be coerced into an integer, or a number can be coerced into a string using the function str. Str function will take the number and put quotation mark, single quote or a double quote, quotation mark around that number and make it into a string value, right? There is a syntax here. Okay, enumerate, I made a mistake here. Enumerate, you need to put the what we need to enumerate over within parentheses. Okay. Now at least we know that it works, but it's not working the way we want it to work, because we want to take the first three letters of V, not the whole V. So right now what's happening is the entire V is taken, and then we are adding the index to it as a string, and that is the key. Okay. But we want only the first 3. So how do we just get the first 3? From a string. Again, go back to chapter 2, and when we discussed strings, okay, one of the topics that we discussed in strings is slicing the strings, right? So what we want to do here is to slice the first 3 letters of the string. So V has the string. So how do we get the first 3 letters of V? How do you do slicing? Okay. To access a string, a substring, we use square brackets and then give the index. Okay. Starting index and the ending index should be separated by a colon. Okay. We want the first 3. So if we leave the so we need like that, right? And we have to have a colon. Before the colon is the starting point, and after the colon is the ending point. So before the colon, if you don't have anything there, then what does that mean? It starts from the very beginning. So we don't have to put a 0 there. If you put a 0, it will work. Okay. So we will just leave that as nothing. So it will start from the very beginning. And we want the first 3, so that means we want 0, 1, and 2. So what should we put after the colon? 3, 0, 1, 2. Then if you just put 2, the 2 will be ignored. So you will get only 0, the element, the letter 0, letter at 0 and letter at 1. So 3 would mean it'll give you letter at 0, letter at 1, and letter at 2. So that will be 3 letters. Okay. So now we have what we wanted. So first 3 letters and then the index position, that's the key, and then the value itself is the value.